Austin. Thank you so much for being here.
You got it. Thank you guys for being here. And today we are going over RevMaxGo. So this has been a tool we have been working on for quite some time now, and we're finally ready to show it to you guys. And that's what we're going to be going over today. My name's Austin Taylor. I'm a software consultant with RevMax for the past 3 years. Today, I'm joined by Desiree Garcia and Maureen Schilling, the two co-founders of RevMax, and you'll be hearing from them a little bit in today's presentation. So let's go ahead and dive in. So the agenda today, we want to kind of go over very quickly who and what is RevMax. You might have heard about us, you might have not, and so we'll cover that. You might have also heard that you actually get a free basic starter tool package if you are a Ignite client. So we will go over what is included in that. We will also cover RevMaxGo, what we are here for today, and we'll do a live demo, and then we'll do FAQs that we commonly hear in the chats and through our interactions. So let's go ahead and dive in. So what is RevMax? RevMax is a revenue management platform that integrates directly with Ignite users. And it is both a revenue management system and a service. So about 50% of our business is really focused on the automations, the features, the tool set. And the other 50% is that plus humans. And so we actually have 8 to 10 full-time revenue managers on our staff that can help you either learn the system or we can do it for you. And so it's a revenue management software fully integrated with you guys. Every action you do inside RevMax will push out to your distribution and OTAs. So this is where you can manage your nightly rates and nightly minimums all in one spot. We also have advanced analytics and LSI insights partnership, which will kind of give you the ability to look into your specific data as well as the markets and make decisions when it comes to revenue management, because data-driven decisions typically have a higher ROI than non-data-driven decisions. So how do we kind of apply or help you out to learn this? We actually have a full learning management system built out with short videos for you to understand how the system works, as well as we have loaded these webinars in the past up to that system as well. So there's a ton of knowledge in there that we can sign you up with as well. When it comes to professional services, I talk to you guys on a daily basis, and sometimes you have a revenue manager and sometimes you don't. And so what we like to provide you is we can do a service for you, which means we would have weekly revenue management support where we go into your system, look at your market, your units, your data, as well as talk back and forth with you to really understand the nuances of your specific company and how we can increase revenue as much as possible. If you kind of want some more hands-off and feel like you're comfortable in the system, we could just do a monthly check-in call just to make sure you are set up correctly. And we also have revenue management ready courses. So if you have somebody on your staff that you feel like needs to be your revenue manager or is kind of next up to fill that role, we can get them ready to roll in that case. So our main goal is to maximize your revenue, both on a software front as well as a revenue management front as well. So you probably have heard this before. What's included in my package? I've heard I had free stuff. What does that include? And so you have a RevMax dashboard, which will cover yearly, monthly, and daily statistics that will help you understand where your business is at. It's a really quick snapshot, and it's really kind of a health meter of where you're at. You also have the RevMax tape chart. This is where I kind of mentioned you manage your nightly rates and nightly minimums all in the same spot. You can do bulk uploads and changes. You will also have the rule for gap logic. So if you have nightly minimum discrepancies where your typical nightly minimums are conflicting with a gap, we have automations to help out with that. We also have dynamic minimal nights included in this package as well. So you might have a certain nightly minimum a year out from arrival, but you might decrease that requirement as you get closer to arrival. And so we can automate that. Then we power this all with our basic reporting, where we can point you in the right direction of where you need to focus on your portfolio in order to maximize revenue. And so that's kind of what the starter tools are. We do have more options if you want to add to this tool set. It really depends on your units, your owners, and your situation to see if these are a good fit or not. And we can always dive in one-on-one to go through these, but we have 3 different types of dynamic pricing. We have advanced analytics. We even have a more sophisticated gap logic. We have lock rates, lock length of stay. advanced tape chart filters, and floor rates by date range. And so a lot of these are designed to help out with owner conversations, designed to help you stand out in the market, and most importantly, increase efficiency and increase revenue. And so part of that is why we're here today, which is RevMaxGo. We understand that you guys want to spend less time managing rates, and this is what we kind of came up with. So RevMaxGo is the next generation of market-based pricing, and you might have already seen RevMax or market-based pricing inside your system. Now it's renamed to RevMaxGo, and we have powered this with over 500 data points inside the algorithm. Again, this is to save time and increase efficiency, and we're super excited to show you today. But how did this problem really come about, and how can you really understand why we built this and what this is built to solve? The idea is that you manage a lot of nights. And so to understand the number of nights that you actually manage, it's a pretty simple equation. You simply take the number of units that you have and multiply it by 365. So I would like for you guys to pull out a calculator, or if you can do it in your head, that's great as well. But take your number of units, multiply by 365, and we're actually going to drop a poll in right now to understand how many nights you actually manage. And so once we understand this, it is super helpful. So go ahead and fill that out, and we will see the number of nights that you guys manage. And we will see the results. You can see the three options: under 15,000, 15,000 to 40,000, and then 40,000 nights plus. And Katrina, we can go ahead and close the poll whenever you're ready, and we can kind of share the results to see where everybody kind of stands. That would be pretty cool. And so we have a couple people, mainly under the 15,000 night mark. And so we will be going over that today. And so how can we manage those 15,000 nights in a couple clicks? And that is where our Desiree Garcia comes into play, and we'll be doing a live system demo right now.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone. Thank you for jumping on with us today. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. Awesome. So within RevMax, we have, I'll show you how to get there, is pricing rules, right? So when you log in, you go into pricing rules, you'll see RevMaxGo. And like Austin said, the purpose of this tool is to do all of the heavy lifting for you when it comes to setting pricing for your properties. So within the system, all you need is a Verbo code or Airbnb code, and you can just get that from your generic URL within the system. When you're live in the unit, you'll click on variables, drop in your code. And if you need the format, it's also hyperlinked over here for you as well. When you drop in the code, within a matter of 1 minute or so, you'll start to see the status of that request change. So if you see a status of OTA codes required, that means that you need a Verbo or Airbnb code. Once you enter the code, you'll see the status of requesting data. Once that has happened, then you'll see the status of pending review. This now means that RevMax has gone through, and based upon the URL that you provided, we're looking at like bedrooms, like bathrooms, locations, amenities, reviews. We're taking in booking patterns, history, pacing. Like Austin said, over 500 data points we're considering, right? When the status is in pending review for your home, you'll come and you'll see now a RevMaxGo tab. This has now dropped pricing for the next 365 days. And it's recommended pricing based upon your market, based upon history, based upon, again, all of the demand events in the area, etc. You will get a base price to start. This is simply just that, a starting from price. It doesn't care about your seasons. It doesn't care about what you did last year. It doesn't even care about your base rate today. It's just a systematic algorithmic value that has been generated. Based upon that base price, the value is going to run through the algorithm and take into consideration all of those data points and give you a recommended price. I don't know why my mouse is doing that. This recommended price here is what, if you approve, will go out into your PMS and then out into distribution and on your websites. So a few things to note, you can definitely overwrite this price. See, if I change it, then the recommended price also gets modified as well. You are more than welcome to go through 365 days within a table to approve how your home is doing. But we also give you a graphical view. And what this is going to do, it's going to show you 3 lines. What you sold for last year, because you want to get a benchmark of what you've previously done without any additional help. Where your current price is, which is your light green line. And then the recommended price, which is RevMaxGo's recommendation. So all your recommendation or recommended pricing is going to determine and be based off of your base rate. That's going to be where if you want more occupancy, get a little bit more aggressive. If you want to drive higher rate, then you can go a little bit higher. But through that meter is where your purple price will get adjusted based upon, again, where you are today and what you sold for last year. Not necessarily what you priced for last year. We don't care about what it was. We cared about where the customer purchased. And that's where you see these dark green lights here. Okay, so if you say, hey, this purple line looks great, it's following, demand patterns of what I was already doing. It looks a little aggressive right now. Maybe I want to drop it a little bit because I really want to drive occupancy, right? Because every home has its own uniqueness. Maybe some homes are saying, hey, it was a new owner and they don't care. They just want to fill the house, right? That's going to be a little bit of a different strategy than that owner that says, also, I don't care. I don't want a lot of occupancy. Just fill me when you can, right? Every owner has their own requests. Every owner has their own strategy. You guys have your own strategy as well that you're trying to deploy. So we give you that flexibility, right, to adjust your algorithm, if you will, up or down based upon all of those deciding factors. Same thing if it's just a general 5-bedroom and it's a premier 5-bedroom, right? Based upon decor and amenities versus the rest of the market, you may want to increase that a little bit. Or again, maybe it hasn't been updated in quite some time and you need to position it a little bit less than the marketplace. So this base price is where you would make those adjustments. You can see I adjusted this down to $199. When I made that, you can see the pattern essentially stayed the same. It really just dropped the position of where that home was. Before, when I was, above 300 on average, now I'm ranging around the 285, 199 price point. So really, I just priced the whole year, right, for next year. This is a running 365 strategy. So this is always going to update, and every day we're going to send you another date of rates. For the next 365, the rates are going to change multiple times a day. However, for next year, you're only going to get one new date at a time. So tomorrow you'll get 8/8/2025, the following day 8/9, etc. So once you're here and you're like, hey, does these rates look good? Perfect. You will go ahead and publish pricing. When you publish pricing, you will need to make sure you have a floor rate. And this floor rate is just going to simply be the lowest ever price that the bot could ever go. You need this just for protection, right? You just think about it. If you were in the off season and let's say the rate's $125 and the market just dropped to $89 and you're like, that's great, but this owner does not want to go below 99 ever. Just drop in that value, click apply, and the bot will then, do its thing with the new floor rates considered. You will then go ahead and accept terms and conditions, basically saying you're using this for your own strategic purposes. You're not doing anything funky with the marketplace. You're taking full responsibility of all the rates that push out. Right? Once you're live, you only ever have to do that once. Your rates are published. You are good to go. The bot is now pricing for the next 365. Your status will then change to live, and you can see that here. And then you can also see your pricing method is RevMaxGo. So very quickly, we just priced a whole home in less than probably 5 minutes. So when you're in the tape chart and you say, that's great, and I'm pricing, how can I make changes? How can I intercept? What happens if I know this specific weekend, I always sell out because there is some kind of event or festival? You definitely have that flexibility to make those adjustments in a couple of places. But first, we see we have 25 homes. There was only 2 that are live. How do I find those easily? Under pricing rules, I just click on RevMaxGo. And then I can see the 2 homes that are connected to RevMaxGo. Within here, these base rates, or these rates that are on the bottom level here, these are the base rates that pull from your RevMaxGo tab. So therefore, whenever you're in here and you make this change, this is 246. If I make that 300, right, my base price and my recommended price changed, then you can also see that they changed here. So no matter what you do on the tab, it'll talk to the tape chart. If I also come in here and say, this looks great, but I only want to change my midweeks and I want to get a little bit more aggressive, you can choose your day of the week filter within your tape chart and bulk edit these and say, look, my base price, go ahead and adjust down an additional 20% because that's just what I want to do. Then your bases will adjust just for those days of the week. You can do everything in bulk. You don't have to do anything one by one. You can, if you want to, and come in here and say this needs to be 500, or I want to completely intercept the bot altogether. And for this specific night, these 2 nights need to be $99, right? You have a lot of different ways that you can override the value. You're always going to be in control. The main objective here is that the bot's going to do 80–90% of the heavy lifting, and you just got to go in and make those modifications. So you're not starting from scratch every time a new home comes in, or every time you take over a listing, or you just need something to stay ahead of the curve, right, while you guys are doing other things within the business. If you have specific events, we do give you an event adjustment column here that allows you to make events to a specific unit for specific dates. And you can go ahead and drop these events in plus or minus, however you choose, and set those up. So if you know that only for whatever reason your resort building or your area gets this event, it's not a whole zip code thing, you can just drop those in here. And then it will make those adjustments for you. It'll just take whatever's in the algorithm and increase those. If you're like, oops, just kidding, I didn't want to do that, you can also just reset everything as well. And it'll take it back to whatever the bot originally wanted. Okay. So easy peasy, Austin. I think most everybody needed 15,000 clicks or 14,000 clicks, but we did 365 in a matter of minutes. So
You got it. That's exactly right. Cool. Perfect. I will now share my screen for the PowerPoint. We'll jump back in, kind of summarize some of the points Desiree went over. One question you might be having is, when do I use RevMaxGo, or when should I think about, oh, maybe RevMaxGo will be a good fit right now? So those conditions we can kind of highlight in 4 main bullet points. And so number 1 being when you have a new unit coming on board and you're like, I'm not quite sure exactly how I should be pricing this. Not too familiar with it. RevMaxGo would be a great solution. Also, when you want a rolling 365, great solution as well. Also, just something that will automatically fluctuate with the market. Look at those 500 data points so you don't have to. That's also when you should leverage RevMaxGo, as well as when you're entering a new market or you have a very unique unit where that kind of ties into the new unit as well, where you're not too familiar with how it should be priced out at. And so if you're walking away today, and one thing we really just want to emphasize is these are kind of the scenarios you should be thinking about using RevMaxGo. So how do I add RevMaxGo to my subscription? It's very simple. To activate it, you can just email me at austintaylor@getrevmax.com. We can schedule a call or email back and forth to make sure this is activated in your system, and we can have it ready for you. So now we have some FAQs. Before I do that, Maureen, are there any questions inside the chat, or should we just dive straight into the FAQs?
No, there are no questions in the chat, so we can go into the FAQs.
Got it. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to just drop that in the chat and we will answer them live. But some of these questions you might be thinking about right now, and I'll kind of go back and forth with Desiree. So Desiree, how many days does this price into the future?
the RevMaxGo will push 365 days on a running basis. So today, when you go live, you'll get the next 365, and then tomorrow you'll get one more date.
Awesome. Perfect. Nice. Can I use RevMaxGo with the other RevMax pricing tools inside the system? So I know I talked about earlier that there's 3 other tools that they can add to their package. How does RevMaxGo play into that, and can I use it?
Absolutely. So that is the benefit with everything within RevMax, right? It's not an all or nothing. It's not one or the other. You can layer all of these components on top of each other. So today we went over RevMaxGo, where it just essentially will price the next 365 for you very quickly. And then outside of that, like for a max yield where you want to, where you're seeing maybe some different patterns, kind of a level 2 strategy of advancement, you can layer that right in on top of the RevMaxGo rates. Or if you need to do some very aggressive discounting, that will also, automate those rules, and then just it'll use the values and apply the rules after that.
Understood. So we can mix and match. Awesome. And so is this a set it and forget it strategy? Desiree, I'll let you answer that one.
No, please do never let any bot, whether it's RevMax or anybody else, just set it and forget it. The goal is the bot's going to, again, do the heavy lifting for you, but you still want to go in and manage it, right? And we don't want you to manage 15,000 nights, 16,000 nights. We just want you to manage the delta of what's not working. So within RevMax, the goal is that you would get this loaded, and then you would be able to spend your time analyzing where you need to make additional tweaks for your demand in your business versus trying to start from day one and build out the next 365. This allows you to do your strategy a little bit upside down. That way you're optimizing at the high level and then can drill down.
Understood. Got it. And will floor and ceiling rates still be honored when I turn on RevMaxGo?
Yes, those are the guardrails within the strategy. So you'll always want a floor rate. Ceiling rates are available. Where that comes into play is, hey, it's all market driven. A lot of it, you're looking at the Vrbo marketplace, the Airbnb marketplace. And sometimes those owners will get very aggressive and take those 1 bedrooms up to astronomical numbers, right? So you do have that ceiling rate where you'll be protected a little bit. And again, that's up to your discretion. But yeah, the bot will always stay within any rules that you drop in.
Awesome. Great. And so I'll answer this one. How do I get RevMaxGo or any additional RevMax features? Again, we can sit one-on-one and really dive deep into your specific situation, your market, your units, your owners. And you can just email info@getrevmax.com, or you can email me at austintaylor@getrevmax.com as well. And we can sit down and see which tools are a good fit for you and which ones are not. And so Desiree and Marine, are there any other questions in the chat by chance, or should we go ahead and wrap up this webinar?
So the one question was, would dynamic pricing through RevMax work with websites? And it does. So anything you do inside RevMax, it's going to communicate directly over to your property management software. And then it's going to populate into the tape chart and all of that. So you can see when you're inside the property management software, what it's doing. And then from there, it's going to send out to every place you distribute your pricing and your nights to, which is like your VRBO, your Airbnb, any sort of distribution channels that you use, as well as your website. And so all of that just works together seamlessly.
Awesome. Okay. Was there any other ones, or is that it?
I think that's it. The other question was, is it easy to distribute? It's super easy. So inside your software, whatever you have set up in there, we're gonna pull all of that into RevMax and then put it on the chart, and you're gonna be able to set up whatever dynamic pricing you would like for each individual home. And they can be different. You can set one home to do one thing and then decide to do something completely different for another home. So RevMaxGo is only one of 3 dynamic pricing models that you can use for your properties. So there's a lot more available, but anything you do inside there is going to go back to your PMS system. And then it'll go out, and it's super, super easy.
Yeah, and that's going to be continuous, right? You only authorize the bot to go once because you'll spend that authorization time, if you will, just to make sure that it's doing what you need. As soon as you publish it, it's live and it's going. So you don't have to republish it again. You just need to make sure it aligns with, with where you're trying to optimize, whether you're driving demand or driving higher rates because of compression within your data set. But otherwise, yeah, once it goes live, and it's just a free way of rates going from RevMax to your PMS, then to website and distribution and res team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. And I assume that was the last question.
Yep, and I hope that answers the question. If you have any other questions that you think of, or you just generally don't know a whole lot about RevMax, and you know that this is something that you get a free version, and you're like, I just want to know the free version, right? Let's just start simple. That's okay. Just reach out to us at info@getrevmax.com or Austin Taylor at getrevmax.com, and we'll help you to, he can give you a nice demo, take you from beginning all the way through so you can see what's available to you in your free version. And then you can decide what to add on, and you can just keep adding on additional pieces of the software as you feel comfortable adding in a more sophisticated strategy. So we can definitely start you off with the lowest level and then help you along that journey as you become more advanced.
You got it. Well, Katrina, I will pass it over to you. But again, like Maureen said, feel free to reach out. We have plenty of resources. We also attend the Ignite conferences as well. So we love our partnership with you guys, and we are here to help.
Absolutely. And thank you all for such a wonderful presentation. The less clicks, the better. So I'm really excited about this. And I do want to let everyone know, whether you are on LMPM or you are on Ignite, you do have this at your fingertips. If you need help within your software activating this, please feel free to reach out to myself, Katrina.Montgomery at LiveRez.com, and I'll be happy to get you activated on our end. All right. Well, you all have a wonderful day, and until next time, goodbye.